Dom, Isaiah, and Sophia's hiking selfies flooded social media that weekend. Laughing faces, breathtaking waterfalls, and a perfect sunset campfire. When Monday came and none returned home, search parties combed Blackwater Forest for weeks before hope faded into annual memorials and weathered missing person posters. The enhanced image of their final photo revealed a shadowy figure watching from the trees. Blackwater Forest stood at the edge of the city, drawing weekend adventurers seeking escape from urban life. For Dom, Isaiah, and Sophia, three inseparable friends in their late 20s, this forest represented the perfect getaway from their demanding careers. They had planned this hiking trip for months, researching the most scenic spots to capture on camera. The morning they set out was perfect, clear skies with just enough cloud cover to keep the summer heat at bay. Dom had packed extra supplies and a map. Isaiah brought his camera equipment, and Sophia led the way as they entered the dense woodland. Their social media accounts quickly filled with updates. The first photos showed them at the trailhead with excited smiles. As the day progressed, their followers watched their journey unfold through images of cascading waterfalls, unique rock formations, and scenic overlooks. As evening approached, they posted what would become their final update. A photo of all three sitting around a campfire, faces illuminated by the orange glow as the sun set. The caption read simply, "Day 1 complete. Nothing beats nature and best friends." Then, silence. Monday morning arrived and none of the three showed up for work. By evening, concern grew. Calls went straight to voicemail. Text messages remained undelivered. Family members contacted authorities, explaining this behavior was completely out of character. The first search party entered Blackwater Forest at dawn on Tuesday. Volunteers worked along the paths the hikers had likely taken. As days passed, the search intensified. Helicopters scanned from above while search dogs followed scent trails that mysteriously vanished at a dirt road cutting through the eastern edge of the forest. This rarely used road became a point of scrutiny. Had they left willingly with someone? Had they been forced into a vehicle? 2 weeks into the search, authorities found their campsite in a small clearing. Their tent remained standing with sleeping bags neatly arranged inside. The fire pit contained cold ashes. Their backpacks sat undisturbed, containing supplies, water bottles, and even wallets with cash still inside. The scene showed no signs of struggle. It appeared as though the three had simply vanished. As search operations continued, online communities began analyzing the friends' final posts. A sharp-eyed internet user first noticed something unsettling in their last campfire photo. In the background, partially hidden among trees, stood a figure dressed in black. The image was blurry and darkened by shadows, but the silhouette was unmistakably human. This discovery sparked theories across social media and true crime forums. The only certainty was that someone had been watching the friends during their last documented moment together. As weeks turned to months, the search gradually scaled back. The case remained open, but active investigation slowed as leads dried up. For the families, this transition from active search to cold case status was devastating, an admission that hope was fading with each passing day. The case of the Blackwater Three gradually slipped from headlines into the realm of unsolved mysteries. Those closest to them refused to forget. 4 years passed this way, lives altered by absence, questions without answers, and grief without closure. Then, on a rainy Tuesday morning in the coastal town of Newport, nearly 300 miles from Blackwater Forest, something extraordinary happened. The emergency room staff at Newport Regional Hospital was nearing the end of night shift when 3 severely malnourished individuals stumbled through the entrance. Soaked from the rain and barely able to stand, they leaned on each other for support. When asked for their names, their responses sent shockwaves through the hospital. Dom Williams, Isaiah Taylor, and Sophia Chen. The missing hikers had returned. Within hours, news of their reappearance spread nationwide. The reunion between the friends and their families happened behind closed doors, a private moment of overwhelming emotion. The returned friends were gaunt, with hollow cheeks and bodies reduced to skin and bone. As they regained physical strength under medical supervision, small details of their ordeal began to emerge. What had started as an innocent hiking trip had transformed into a nightmare beyond imagination. Their second morning in Blackwater Forest, they had awakened to the sounds of twigs snapping near their campsite. Before they could react, masked men had emerged from the trees, subduing them with cloth-covered chloroform. The truth that finally emerged after 5 years of silence was far more horrifying than anyone had imagined. The 3 friends had become victims of an international human trafficking ring, selected, targeted, and abducted with frightening efficiency. They had been transported hundreds of miles, crossing state lines and eventually international borders, processed like commodities rather than human beings. For the first phase of their captivity, they were kept separated, each unaware if the others were alive or dead. Dom was forced into underground construction work, laboring in dangerous conditions to build hidden structures for criminal enterprises. Isaiah was sent to agricultural operations, harvesting crops from dawn until dusk under armed guard. Sophia endured the cruelest fate, shuffled between various locations where she was forced into domestic servitude, always under threat and surveillance. Their captors employed brutal methods to ensure compliance. The psychological trauma was as devastating as the physical abuse. Weeks of resistance gave way to months of hopelessness, then years of grim acceptance. Fate intervened 2 years into their captivity when all three were transferred to the same remote compound, a sprawling facility housing dozens of trafficked individuals forced to work in various capacities. Recognition didn't come immediately, but eventually, during a rare moment of minimal supervision, Isaiah spotted a familiar movement in Sophia's walk. Days later, Dom was brought to the same area. Against all odds, the three friends had found each other again. For 3 more years, they existed in this state of controlled captivity, but now, with a critical difference, they had each other. In whispered conversations during brief moments away from cameras and guards, they slowly rekindled their bond. Together with other captives they gradually trusted, they began mapping guard rotations, noting weaknesses in security, and quietly gathering information about their location. Over months, they began collecting and hiding flammable materials, cleaning supplies, cooking oil, anything that might create a diversion. The day their opportunity arrived, the plan was set in motion with fires strategically started in multiple outbuildings, creating chaos and drawing guards away from their posts. As alarms blared and smoke filled the night air, captives scattered in predetermined directions. The three friends, along with 5 others, used the confusion to slip through a section of fencing damaged in a recent storm. What followed was weeks of desperate travel through wilderness, avoiding roads and populated areas. Eventually, they reached a small farming community where an elderly couple, seeing their desperate condition, allowed them to make a phone call that would change everything. When asked about the mysterious figure in their final campfire photo, the truth revealed something even more chilling. The person had been a scout for the trafficking network, monitoring potential targets throughout their hike. The operation wasn't random. It was calculated. The dirt road where the search dogs lost their scent had indeed been the extraction point where they were loaded into vehicles and taken from the forest. This revelation led investigators to uncover an extensive trafficking operation spanning 3 countries. 27 more victims were freed, and dozens of perpetrators at various levels arrested. Today, Dom, Isaiah, and Sophia face the monumental task of rebuilding lives that were stolen from them. Physical recovery came first, addressing malnutrition, untreated injuries, and health issues that developed during captivity. The psychological healing proves more challenging, with trauma specialists helping them process 5 years of systematic abuse and exploitation. Their story has unveiled that trafficking victims aren't only those from vulnerable socioeconomic backgrounds, but can include anyone, even 3 friends on a weekend hiking trip who posted 1 photo too many. What would you do if you noticed someone watching you in the background of your vacation photos?